The 440th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100 times your entry. That's right, turn $5 into $500 in just one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $500. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Plus, the NBA is back, and so is the NBA Gambling Podcast. To celebrate, we're giving away an NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Just head on over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA dog for all the details.
Heidi ho, Degenerinos, and welcome to episode 440 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Chalks Fox. I'm waiting for it. I
canceled the music this time.
I'm going to dedicate this episode to Gumby Vreeland for not playing the theme song twice. Even though it's my brother's band, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind the song being played multiple times, but still, props to Gumby. Also, props to Gumby for hitting Arizona Diamondbacks to win NLCS plus 150 something. So it's not just MMA. The man knows baseball as well, plus other things. So hopefully he knows regional MMA, because that's what today is all about. LFA 170 is going down on Friday. We're going to break it down with the top 5 fights of the night, and with Gumby's picks, his winning picks. I got to remember I'm on camera because I keep putting my finger up on my screen. So you probably just see a big finger coming up to the camera, and it probably scares some people, right? Big finger. Like
I don't think it's scary. That's just good. That's just good TV.
All right. It's like Matombo. All right. Let's bring in my co-host. He's already here. It's kind of weird bringing you in now because everyone can see that you're here.
They see my face.
Yeah. It was more fun in the olden days when I'd make you wait, but it's Gumby Vreeland, everyone. It says Gumby on the screen right there.
Yeah, so you already know who I am. Yeah, you used to make me wait like 10 minutes. Like the first 10 minutes.
We didn't have content back then. I've realized we did not have content back then.
Yeah,
we did a lot of funny things to kill time.
I don't think I could go back and listen to those. I think I'd feel cringy and stuff. It was just It was filler. But now they let us fill enough time that we now have almost too much to do. We got tons of regional MMA this week and good fights too. Yep.
That's what episode 440 is going to be all about. So Gumby, his Phillies hatred got him a winning pick with the Diamondbacks, which is good. I'm doing a World Series write-up right now, so that will be on sportsgamblingpodcast.com very, very soon. So make sure you check out that site for all our winning picks, obviously. And Gumby, explain your hat today. Every day, every time we record, Gumby has a new minor league baseball hat. Some people are interested in it. I'm interested in it. Superfan Jog is. So tell us who it is and why it's a churro.
Yeah, so for people who are just on the audio medium, it's got the Giants colors. So it's orange on the side, black on the brim, white on the front. And it's got a churro swinging a baseball bat because it's the San Jose Giants, the minor league team. And they had like a Mexican night or something like that. So obviously they went with a churro wearing a cowboy hat, swinging a baseball bat.
An obvious choice. A churro with a Mexican hat swinging a baseball bat.
What else would you put on there?
Exactly. We'll see how long we can go before Gumby has to wear a hat he's already worn. Maybe fans will send him hats and then he keep wearing new hats every day.
You know that wouldn't be bad.
Wouldn't be bad. I'll send you a Kitchener Panthers hat, our hometown minor league team, but it's not really
You have minor league baseball up in Canada?
It's like semi-pro baseball, basically.
Okay.
It's not affiliated or anything. It's like, almost like a men's league, but it's, very good and they get paid a bit.
So you're saying they're a little bit better than the leagues that me and Mal from the MMA or MLB Gambling Podcast play.
Definitely better than Mal's league over in England. I'm pretty sure it's better than that league, but who knows?
I love
they have a bunch of Dominicans in that league apparently. So
I love the box scores because like he posts them once in a while on socials. And it's like 27-21 and stuff like that. It's great.
Make sure you listen to MLB Gambling Podcast because that's they do a better job than we do with the. Well, maybe not actually. Our articles.
No, did you see what Mal? Did you see the they've got a post on socials right now? I know this is not an advertisement for them, but it can be. There's a post on their socials right now that's got Noah, who isn't on the show so much anymore, but Noah saying all the way back in last November to get in on the Rangers because they were going to spend a bunch of money in the offseason and be damn good.
Yep.
And then it's got Mal, November 22nd, 2022, saying to put money on the Diamondbacks to win the World Series at 75-1.
Wow.
Yeah. So like those guys, those two had it pegged, all that time ago. Incredible.
Yep. Did we have the UFC 295 main event falling out? Did we have that pegged or not?
I think we might have said it would.
Probably. When it's two old guys, well, relatively speaking, two old guys that hardly ever fight, then yeah, it's bound to happen. And in case you haven't heard the news, John Jones ripped a pec off the bone, which is something you hear happening to bodybuilders and people who do steroids and whatnot. Not casting, but it's true. I'm not casting dispersions to a guy's way who's failed multiple drug tests, but still that's the type of injury you hear from like or like pro wrestlers. Like Triple H would always, when he was old, he would always rip muscles, or Vince McMahon would rip muscles because their muscles are bigger than they should be for their age. So anyhow, John Jones, regardless of how he did it, he ripped a pec. He's out of the fight. And we heard anything about Stipe Miocic? Because I've heard nothing about him, why he's not fighting. Instead, it's Pavlovich versus Aspinall for the interim belt, which is good. Maybe they can make heavyweight division good again and get these old guys who barely fight out of there. But we haven't heard anything about Stipe, have we?
I just heard he wasn't interested in fighting people not named John Jones. Which sort of makes sense, right? Like we've been saying, he's got one foot out the door. So if he's a person who believes, like this is a legacy fight against John Jones and he's pretty much done otherwise, why would you risk it by fighting, Tom Aspinall? Why would you go get your ass kicked by Tom Aspinall and then just be like, oh, well, I guess that did nothing for my legacy, and B, didn't get me as fat of a paycheck, right? Because Jones versus Stipe, I think we can agree, is going to sell better than, Stipe versus Aspinall or Stipe versus Pavlovich would have, despite the fact that it's a more deserving fighters fighting now. Like Jones versus Stipe was going to sell really well. So, I think to him, he's like, it's not worth it to me. I'll just wait for Jones anyway. Jones wanted his retirement fight to me. We'll both fight and we'll just vacate whatever belt it is to these two much more young, deserving power punchers.
Can we just make that like a feature fight, a super fight? Do we have to make it for the championship? Can't we just like put these guys off to the side and have like the real young up and coming heavyweights fight for the belt instead of interim?
I would prefer that. I hate the term interim when we know that like the other guy is going to come back and like defend one time, not against the guy with the. I mean, you're probably right at this point.
It's a serious injury. It's like. It's not a minor injury he has here.
And for what? Like, is Stipe going to wait around for him for 10 months? I mean, like, if he does, like, what is Stipe even going to look like at that point?
Yeah. Or is the interim just so they don't have to make this the main event in Madison Square Gardens and they can put the light heavyweight title in the main event instead?
I'm surprised they don't want to put the big men on. They don't want to put the big men in the main event.
Usually that's their thing. So I'm thinking usually that's always they fall back on all the heavier weight always headline. So maybe this is their way out of that because they don't want that fight to headline. I don't know, but we're getting a better fight. At least if you're a hardcore fan, you're getting a better fight on
for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So we'll talk about soon enough, right? A few weeks. When is it? November the what? Do you know off the top of your head?
11th. November 11th. Yeah, because I just talked to a fighter on that fight card. So it's November 11th.
Ooh, there we go. All right. So it will be short notice for both men, but Pavlovich was the backup already, right? For this fight?
I mean, he's been the backup for every title fight for the last like 3 years.
That's another thing. Like. Wasn't who was the backup? There was a backup for last weekend's pay-per-view too, who didn't end up getting the fight.
Yeah,
but you moved it.
To be fair, that was very different circumstance. So it was Matthews Gamrot, and which by the way, I like him as a replacement fighter. That's kind of fun. But I think that was for like fight week hijinks and shenanigans. Like they would need somebody on Fight Island all ready to go, or Yas Island, or whatever you want to call it. They needed somebody there already ready to go, and if it fell apart far before then, so there was plenty of time to ship somebody in who would sell better. And it sucks for Matthews, but he got paid.
And speaking of that, Volkanovski, don't like where his head's at and don't like his comments. Like he's one of these guys who's going to have trouble walking away when it's time to walk away. Now, I'm not saying it is already, but he seems like he has to fight or has a lot of mental issues, and he's trying to rush back in a couple months. So yeah, don't like that, especially coming off a knockout.
Yeah, I'm kind of just hoping he doesn't get cleared for January, if I'm being
Right,
honest.
right.
You know, like that's the best case
Yeah.
scenario. He's just not cleared.
Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, like, it's also upsetting that it's like the hardest test he's had at featherweight in a long time.
Yeah.
Because he got to fight Korean Zombie, which is kind of a little bit more of a layup. He got to fight Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, the max fights are difficult too, but like this is the first guy where you're like, maybe I don't pick him. Like you have to at least like squint and think about it.
Definitely. Yeah. A little concerned about him going forward, Mr. Volkanovski. Hopefully he can pick up a hobby or something. Maybe he can start playing Underdog Fantasy because Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long. Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. Go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100 times payout. And for a limited time, Underdog is extending the first deposit bonus up to $500. And if that's not enough for you, it should be. But if you're greedy and you want more, $100,000 Sundays continues on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players will win $10,000 each week. Do you have a Underdog spicy play for us in any sport, Gumby? Since I said off the top, you're a man of all the sports, you know it all.
Sure. If you get this in your ears before the Wednesday night NBA games kick off, take the higher than on Chet Holmgren's points and rebounds put together. I was just checking it out on the app myself. 21.5 points and rebounds together. This guy is going to put up 21.5 points. So take the higher than on his points and rebounds combined.
That is a spicy play. Yeah, take all the plays you can on Chet Holmgren until he inevitably gets, easy for me to say, gets hurt because you got to worry about that body type in the NBA. Oh, I know why you're picking him.
He put on some muscle. He put on a little muscle.
But this is a homer play. This is a Gonzaga play again. With you.
It is a homer Gonzaga play.
It's true. All right. See, I told you he knows about NBA. He's NBA, MLB, MMA. What else? Is that it?
I know a bit about Premier League soccer.
Okay. NHL, no.
A little bit. I know the Bruins. I'm a Bruins guy. We got a 19-year-old rookie with 3 goals right now.
Cool. Is he named Bobby Orr?
Potras.
Okay. All right. Anyhow, when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500 as Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. And the NBA Underdog contest is in full effect. NBA is back, baby. And to celebrate, we're giving away an NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA DOG to submit a screenshot of you playing NBA Underdog using our promo code SGPN. And one random winner will get an NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA DOG. We should give away hoodies too. What do you think, Dan?
I think there may be something in the works to potentially do that in the very near future.
Perhaps that's what I am teasing at. Perhaps. All right. Enough. No other non-MMA talk. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty now. MMA. LFA, they're still the biggest regional promotion around, right? No one's taken that crown yet from them. Just agree.
Maybe Cage Warriors is coming up.
Yeah, if you want to count them as regional, sure. Fury's on its way up too, but LFA is probably still the biggest, and they have their 170th event going down this coming Friday, the 27th, 10 p.m. Eastern, UFC Fight Pass, LFA 170, Talundzic versus Frunza, and it's going down in Vail, Colorado, in the Dobson Arena. I'm going to ask you if you've been there. I know you probably have not.
No, not at all.
I haven't been to Colorado either, at least as far as I remember. All right, we're going to start things off with a Canadian. Hooray. Women's flyweights on the card, 3 5-minute fights. We've got Nejra Repp versus Shannon Clark. So Shannon Clark would be the Canadian. Repp would be, what flag is that? Bosnia, and hurts the Goodnavina, Bosnia. And I know she's from there because listen to her nickname in a moment. Tell you about Clark first, though. She's 3-0 with 3 knockouts, is a regional champion. Used to fight up at bantamweight, 2 inches taller than Repp. You know the odds I can
I
tell
do.
them.
Yeah, you can let him go.
This one's pretty much a pick 'em. Clark is -110. And then the Bosnian bombshell. She would be the one from Bosnia. Repp 2-0 with 2 knockouts, 2-0 in LFA. So both fights were in the big promotion LFA. And she's at -120. That's all I got on her. Gumby will know more about these people. Hopefully, do you have to do a lot of research for these cards? The card we're doing today, the card we're doing tomorrow.
These two I didn't. Do you know why I didn't have to on these two?
Sorry, what was you cut out there? What did you say?
I said I didn't have to do any research on these two, and the reason
really
is because both of them appeared on the Top Turtle MMA podcast this past week.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So if you want to hear interviews with both of these two women, you can check those out this week. That episode dropped yesterday, so you'll get that. The interesting thing about both these fighters is they fight so similarly. That's why you see the odds where they are, -120, -110. They both like to get in the clinch. They're both bruisers. They're both so physically strong for this division. One of them trains at Factory X. The other one trains at a police station in Canada, which
really,
I wish I was kidding. Like I was talking to her and she was like, yeah, no, I just train at this local police station with the cops. And I was like, it like took me a second for it to dawn on me that it was like a true statement. And then I like checked out her Instagram and it's like, nah, she's just training with cops. This is cool. And I'm actually going to go with the Canadian here because the difference maker for me is when you see Nejra, and it's Nejra, by the way, Nejra Repp in the clinch, she does a lot of the fundamental things incorrect. Like she doesn't dig for underhooks properly. Her head position is sometimes a little wonky. It's on the temple instead of under the chin line. She's not constantly digging for what she needs. She doesn't work for takedowns. She's just kind of throwing to the body. And Clark sometimes looks a little clumsy on her feet, like she falls down, like throwing kicks sometimes, but like she does more consistently throw strikes that are in range. She works the legs exceptionally well. She's probably physically stronger. Her technique in the clinch is a lot better. Her top game is a lot sharper. And in general, I think the other thing that is going to be the biggest difference maker is she just kind of like weaponizes her cardio. She's one of those fighters who is like in your face and working all the time, and people just get like I watched her fight for Unified MMA, and her opponent she just basically quit because she was so exhausted and she had jacked up her leg pretty bad too. So like I like the cardio of Clark, and I think it's going to take over here. She was an underdog like 3 days ago, so I think other people are seeing the same thing. So if you are thinking about getting in on Clark, do it sooner rather than later because she might fluctuate all the way to the favorite soon.
All right, go Canada. Yeah, the odds, I did the odd yesterday and then I updated them today. And yeah, a lot of them have changed drastically. I guess there's not a heck of a lot of money coming in on regional stuff. So if some smarts put some money in, it's going to change the line. If Turnip is in here, changing lines, then throw money down, then the books have to respect that. So, all right, let's move up to featherweight, shall we, on the men's side? Caio Machado, we spoke about him before, have we not?
No, different Caio Machado. Although we might have talked about this one too, when he fought Jonas Villarino. But like then there's a Caio Machado who made the UFC from like that weird Contender Series fight that was terrible.
Right. And he's technically Canadian in my books, right? The other one?
The other one is Canadian. This one not Canadian.
All right. And this Caio Machado is from, you guessed it, Brazil. He's fighting Ilyor Bakhtiyar Uulu. Uulu is his last name. So would be good in Scrabble if you had a whole bunch of U's and L's and you could write his name. They don't let you use names though like that in Scrabble. All right, I'm going to tell you about Machado first. Lionheart is the name. 16-8, 8 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted once. 1-3 in LFA. 2-1 over his last 3. 5-2 over his last 7. Got knocked out in his last fight. Is a regional champion. Used to fight down at bantamweight. 2011 pro MMA debut. Plus 165. Uulu. I assume it's Uulu, or is it Uulu?
I believe it's Uulu, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a term used by like Kyrgyzstani. I think it's Kyrgyzstan. I see most of these fighters from. That's where he's from, right?
Oh yeah, I was looking that up. Was I not?
I think he's Kyrgyzstan. I think it's a last name used from Kyrgyzstan. It means something like son of or junior or something of that effect. So like his actual like name is Bakhtiyar.
Okay, got it. All right. He is 7-1, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He's never been finished in a fight. This is his debut in LFA. He's won 5 straight fights. However, he's not fought since September 2022. 2 inches taller than Machado, minus 205.
So Machado is kind of one of those fighters who like moves forward a whole lot, but doesn't throw very much. Almost like in a way that like as he gets close to you, he starts worrying that you're going to counter him. I saw that in the Billarino fight. The Billarino fight is the one that really sticks out to me. And it just happened that he did that so long, so many times that he wound up beating a body kicking and going down and getting TKO'd. Before that, sometimes he gets on the inside and does some like body locks. But I'll be honest, I'm like not super impressed with his body lock takedowns. And Bakhtiyar is just like a guy who is hyper explosive on the feet, like spinning kicks, spinning elbows, big hooks, all that kind of stuff. I think the fact that he's just more aggressive is why he's the favorite here. You said negative 205. Oh, he timed out here. So are we still there? Hello.
I am still here. Hello.
Okay. I said negative 205 on Bakhtiyar.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Minus 2. Yeah. Sorry. You cut out once in a while here. Minus 205 is correct.
Well, hopefully I'm not cutting out for the listeners.
No.
But anyway, yeah, like I just think that's worth a play, him being like the more aggressive guy and the guy with the KO power. So I'll take Bakhtiyar here. I think he gets it done and it's by just being like more aggressive, more explosive, having ways to finish the fight.
He caught me ignoring him while he's talking, as per usual. Now I'm on camera getting caught. Oh well. All right, let's move on.
You're just getting the next thing ready. Nobody's judging.
It's true. All right, we're on to featherweights again. AJ Robb from the United States of America versus Isaac Thompson from Australia, I believe. Aussie. Or is he from New Zealand? He is from Australia. All right. Who shall we talk about first? We shall talk about Robb first. Yep. 6-2, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted once. 1-2 in LFA. He's won 5 straight fights, all via finish. So now he's back in LFA. He's not lost since November 2018. Used to fight down at bantamweight. 0-1 as pro boxer, plus 300. Thompson, 5-1 with 4 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. 2-1 in LFA. He's won 3 straight fights, 2 straight via knockout or TKO. He used to fight up at lightweights via lightweight versus the bantamweight former. 4 inches taller than Robb, minus 400.
So I'll be honest, when I was breaking this one down, I was thinking Isaac Thompson, and it is Isaac, I believe, not Isaac. If I know that's weird and it looks like Isaac, but I'm pretty sure he goes by Isaac. But Thompson, I thought was going to come in as like a slight favorite. Like I thought he'd be the same kind of favorite as Bakhtiyar would be, like right around negative 200. So when I saw negative 400, it did make me a little hesitant, but I'm still going to pick him to win here because Robb's one of those guys who just like throws the kitchen sink and in like anytime he's in a scramble, just tries to muscle the position. And it's worked really well for him so far because he is so strong. But like Thompson, first of all, alpha male guy, which I know sometimes we fade alpha male guys, but on the regional scene, alpha male guys have a little bit better of a chance. And then on top of that, too, he uses like really good push kicks and kicks to the front and feints on the push kicks to just keep that range and keep somebody away from him. He's a far faster striker. He's a far more explosive striker. He's just like a guy who's quite a bit better than Robb. So at the end of the day, I think like Robb, if he gets in any grappling positions, isn't going to fare well because he's fighting an alpha male guy. And at the end of the day, Thompson is just a guy who's like gonna pick him apart on the feet. So yeah, give me the longer, taller, stronger Thompson.
That sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, you love length.
Yes, it's true. All right. Thompson is the pick. We're going to move on after I tell you about Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. We are moving right along with all the research we have done for you for LFA. Co-main event time, and it is called a co-main event. Hayward Charles from the America versus Myktybek Orolbai. Orolbai, is that right? Orolbai from
Myktybek Orolbai.
And he's from Kyrgyzstan, right?
Kyrgyzstan again. Yeah. Is he
Kyrgyzstan,
the
yes.
second one? Second one from Kyrgyzstan.
Yes, he is. Yes. All right. How do you say his last name again?
Orolbai.
Orolbai. Okay. Easy enough. Charles is the hybrid. He's 18-14, 1 knockout, 16 submissions. So we know what he's looking for in fights. He's been knocked out 6 times, submitted once, 1-2 in LFA, 2-1 over his last 3, 2-4 over his last 6. He did win his last fight via submission. Used to fight at bantamweight and light heavyweight, was a regional champion, 2011 pro MMA debut, 0-1 in boxing, 3-inch title in Orolbai plus 775. Orolbai is 10-1-1. I said his name 2 different ways there, I know. 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's 2-0 in LFA. 5 straight fights. Won 5 straight. Last one via TKO. That his last loss, December 2020. Used to fight at lightweight, minus 1,300.
So first of all, I got to question something. Did you say fought at bantamweight and light heavyweight?
No, I'm sorry, not bantamweight. Middleweight.
Oh,
middleweight. That's why you were chuckling. If I said bantamweight,
I thought you said bantamweight and light heavyweight, and I was
that would be some BJ Penn type stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, like a deserved negative 1,300 here. So I think I've said in the past, I'm like not the biggest Myktybek or Orolbai guy. Like I think he's got great wrestling and super good top game and like good ground and pound. I just think there are holes for him. But at the same time, like they fed him, this has to be a late replacement. And I don't know for sure that it is, but it has to be. Because they're feeding him a journeyman here, like a 32 fight journeyman who's got like 18 wins in those 32 fights. They're feeding him a journeyman. And if you watched Hayward Charles fight ever before, he's a pull guard guy. Like he's a guy who literally is like just trying to like wave hands in your face until he gets close enough to you to pull guard. And like Orolbai is not going to get subbed by a guy laying on his back. So Orolbai is just going to take that position and punch his head in. Negative 1,300, obviously not the most tempting line I've ever seen in my whole life, but like this is his fight. Don't get swayed by seeing a big fat number on a guy with a ton of submissions.
Do you see him making the UFC one day? So
if you asked me one fight ago before his last fight, I was a naysayer on him and I probably would have said no. I think he's got like some holes in his stand-up game. I really would like to see him against a striker, against somebody with like a little bit of length. Like I would take him. I would love to watch him fight either of these two guys in the main event. Like this Harris Talundzic or Daniel Frunza, whoever walks out of this one with a win would be a really fun fight for Orolbai. One of them instead will probably get a title fight, which is kind of upsetting. Because like Orolbai needs to be fighting somebody with hands. Maybe he'll get the loser because it's still a step up from Hayward Charles. But like he's got to fight somebody with hands, and let me see what that looks like before I'll really, put a stamp on him going to the UFC.
Why are you such an Orolbai hater?
Because last time I bet the guy against him, and I think it was plus 600, and he looked really bad. But also just like, like there's the prelims and the regional scene and everything is like filled with dudes with like high level wrestling, either like, junior college wrestling, D1 wrestling, came from, an Eastern Bloc or former Soviet country. Like they're filled with those kind of people. And then like, you want to see them round their game out. You want to see them be a complete fighter before they wind up, kind of on the big stage with only like one skill set.
All right. Fantastic. There you go. Show Dan more if you want to win him over. All right, main event time. Harris Talundzic versus Daniel Frunza. Talundzic he's Bosnian as well, is he not? I believe so. He's from Bosnia. Yes, because he has a Bosnian nickname again. Daniel Frunza is from, do you know this one off the top of your head, Dan?
The Italian?
Nope, Romania.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Same general part of the world, sure. His nickname is, Frunza's nickname is Tijano or Tigano. Do you know what that means? Not Cigano.
I definitely don't know any Romanian. So
Tigano means gypsy, and that would be Frunza. He is 7-2 with 6 knockouts. He's been submitted twice, so he's been finishing both his losses. 1-0 in LFA. He's won 3 straight fights in 7 of 8. All 3 of his last 3 wins, so his 3-fight winning streak have come via knockout or TKO. He's at plus 215. Talundzic, the Bosnian silverback. Do they have silverbacks in Bosnia? I'm guessing they don't. Except in zoos, yes. He is 6-1 with 3 submissions. Never been finished in a fight. 5-1 in LFA. Won his last fight via submission. He's a year younger than Frunza. Minus 249.
I'm actually going to go dog here. I'm going to take Frunza in the main event. You said plus 215.
Plus 215. Yep.
Yeah, I like. So here's the thing. I think Talundzic is a more complete fighter. I think he's got so much more going for him. He throws really good combinations. When he shoots a takedown, it's great. My problem is this: like sometimes it takes him a really long time to find the range, and he also like just doesn't go to the takedown early enough, and definitely not often enough. So like we're winding up with a guy here who like his best attribute is his grappling, and sometimes he just doesn't use it enough for me. And it really cost him, the last time he was in an LFA main event, was it Chris Brown who beat him? Like he just didn't use the stuff that he does best early enough. And the thing about standing and trading with Frunza is Frunza, like I said, not as complete of a fighter, but he hits like a truck. Like this dude throws absolute haymakers. And I think the problem with Talundzic, when he finds range, he's just like a little bit too hittable. So I do think Frunza, especially at 215, is like an incredible value.
All righty, there we go. Gumby finishes things off for this episode with a dog for us. All right, let's recap. Frunza as a dog, Orolbai as a humongous favorite. Is that a throw him in a parlay material for him, or
I mean,
do you have a prop
it's
bet
not
for
even
him,
gonna
or?
make the number better. Like I guess look for him by TKO if your books list that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What else we got here? Thompson as a pretty big favorite. Uulu as a smaller favorite, and then Clark is basically a pick'em. Did I get all those correct?
That sounds right to me.
All right. We're out of here. We're out of your ear holes, but we're going to be back tomorrow with finish off our regional MMA week with the Cage Warriors fight cards going down from Italy. Till then, we shall be in the Discord. We're always in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. If you have any questions, concerns, or you just want to come in and chat, that's the place to be. Twitter, SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that account for us. He is at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer on Twitter and on Instagram. You can listen to Gumby's other podcast, the Top Turtle MMA podcast, minus me. I listen to it, but I'm not on it. Who is on it this week with you, other than your co-host?
So 3 people we just talked to about Harris Talundzic, who's main eventing LFA this weekend, and then Nejra, Repp, and Shannon Clark, who are fighting each other a little bit earlier on.
Gumby's only picked one of them to win. So
I couldn't pick more than 2.
It's true. It is true. What else? Oh, my Substack. Subscribe to my Substack. Get all my writings and podcasts in your inbox, and also my weekly pick'em contest at moneymma.substack.com. And everything, as I said off top, all good things in the sports gambling world is at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. And don't forget our Patreon, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We'll be back tomorrow with another regional event, Cage Warriors 163. Who will be along for the ride? It'll be me, the Bosnian Silverback, and my co-host, the Bosnian Bombshell, will be there as well. We'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.